let's just take a collective breath for a second. If you're someone who constantly feels weighed down by this relentless stream of worst-case scenarios, crippling doubt, and harsh self-criticism, well, I want you to really hear this. You are not a negative person. You are just someone whose mind has been silently carrying the wrong thoughts. I mean, think about how much of a relief that is. You aren't fundamentally flawed. You aren't uniquely broken. You've just been carrying around this incredibly heavy, exhausting mental luggage, maybe for years, and probably without even fully realizing it. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into exactly how to stop negative thinking in just 30 days. And listen, we are leaving the toxic positivity, the fake motivation, and those empty little platitudes completely at the door. Instead, we're looking at a highly practical, straightforward, neuroscience-backed system to actually reset your brain. We're going to pop the hood, look at the mechanics of your mind, and give you a very real, scientifically sound way out of those dark mental loops. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the myth of brokenness, then we'll explore the neuroscience of fear, walk through the 30-day brain reset, and finally find freedom over perfection. Okay, let's dive into this first part, the myth of brokenness and unlearning the negative person label. Most people suffering from a daily barrage of harsh thoughts suffer in complete silence. Why? Because they genuinely, deeply believe something is wrong with them at their core. They literally stick a permanent label on their identity, telling themselves, well, I guess I'm just a negative person. But we need to unlearn that label right now, because scientifically speaking, it's just not true. We've got to fundamentally reframe how we think about thoughts. Imagine your brain is a muscle. If you go to the gym and train one specific muscle group again and again, it naturally gets stronger, right? Your brain does the exact same thing. If you repeat a specific thought pattern, it gets stronger, even if that pattern is actively hurting you. Slowly, day by day, without you even consciously realizing it, your mind just starts repeating fear, doubt, and panic on autopilot. It happens not because you're broken, but simply because your brain learned it. It's a trained reflex. And the beautiful truth here? Anything that is learned can absolutely be unlearned. Which brings us to section 2, the neuroscience of fear, are basically why your brain totally overreacts. We need to take an objective look at exactly why your brain tends to freak out over seemingly minor things. The very first thing to establish is that your brain is not your enemy. At its core, it's actually just trying to protect you. It's running a highly effective but deeply outdated survival program. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, human survival depended heavily on fear. An ancient trigger, like a small rustle in the brush or a fleeting shadow, could literally mean death by our predator. So your brain learned a vital, life-saving rule: expect danger before it happens. Fast forward to today, there are obviously no lions hiding in your office. But your brain? It still reacts the exact same way to modern triggers. An unread text message, a minor mistake at work, or an ominously vague "can we chat" message from your boss, suddenly your nervous system fires up as if a saber-toothed tiger just walked into the room. It is the exact same biological alarm bell ringing for a totally different scenario. But here is the absolute game changer of this entire explainer. Your brain is not fixed. Thanks to a concept called neuroplasticity, your brain is highly changeable. Every single thought you repeat physically builds a new neural pathway in your brain. Since your current negative loops were built through repetition, you hold the power to build a brand new path starting today. We aren't stuck. We literally just need to change the inputs. All right, let's get into the step-by-step actionable roadmap with section 3, the 30-day brain reset. This is where the magic happens. We're moving from understanding the underlying science of fear to actually applying it in a highly structured 4-week system. It's specifically designed to rewire those old, outdated neural pathways and build fresh ones. Over the next 30 days, we break this behavioral change down into 4 distinct phases. Week 1 is all about awareness. Week 2 focuses on how to physically interrupt the pattern. Week 3 is when we work to replace the thoughts. And week 4 is all about how we reinforce the new habit. This is your proactive, step-by-step journey out of the loop. So let's look at week 1, awareness. For the very first time, your job isn't to fix anything. Actually, scratch that. Your only job is just to notice. Most people are completely drowning in negative thoughts they don't even clearly see. They just feel the panic that comes with them. Your goal here is to become the observer. When a dark thought pops up, instead of spiraling into, "oh man, I'm not enough," or "everything is ruined," you simply note it quietly. You say to yourself, there is a negative thought. That's it. No judgment, no fighting it, no frustration, just awareness. And by doing this, something incredibly powerful happens. You stop actually being the thought and you step back to merely observe it. In that precise moment, you take your power back from the fear. Moving right into week 2, our objective is to interrupt. Now that you're catching the pattern as an observer, you're going to notice something important. Negative thoughts do not stop easily. In fact, they grow when they're ignored, and they spread like wildfire when they're feared. So we don't try to fight them mentally. We interrupt them physically. Step 1, you catch the pattern. Step 2, you take one deep breath. Step 3, you make one physical movement to alter your state. Stand up, stretch your arms, walk to another room, whatever works. Your body acts as a literal, tangible switch for your mind. You aren't trapped in your thoughts. You can literally break the mental loop with immediate physical action. You starve the loop of its momentum. As we enter week 3, we focus on replace. Now, pay close attention because this is often the trickiest part. When you interrupt a negative thought, your immediate instinct might be to force overwhelming fake positivity. But listen, if you tell yourself, I am absolutely perfect and I love everything about my life right now, your brain is going to call your bluff immediately. Why? Because it just isn't believable to you in that moment. Instead of toxic positivity, we need honest realism. Not overly positive, not deeply negative, just real. Try thinking, I'm struggling right now, but I can handle the very next step. Or, hey, I made a mistake, but I can improve next time. This honest realism is where the actual sustainable healing begins. It's not about pretending everything is flawless. It's about accepting the truth without relentlessly attacking yourself. Finally, we arrive at week 4, reinforcement. This is where you firmly rebuild your mind one moment at a time. And guess what? This entire reinforcement phase takes a grand total of 90 seconds a day. Yep, that's it. In the morning, you spend just 30 seconds setting a clear intention. I will notice my thoughts today. In the evening, you spend 60 seconds on a quick reflection. Where did I notice my thoughts today? True, lasting cognitive transformation doesn't require these massive, exhausting, grand gestures. It requires small, repeated, daily awareness. Slowly but surely, by practicing this incredibly brief daily habit, your mind stops controlling you and actually starts listening to you. Which leads us perfectly into our final section, freedom over perfection, and establishing your new reality. Let's take a grounding, reassuring breath as we wrap up this explainer. What we've been talking about today is establishing a completely new reality for yourself, and it is absolutely crucial to set healthy expectations for what your future actually looks like. This is the single most vital thing to remember today. After you complete this reset, you won't necessarily feel fixed. Because, as we've learned, you were never actually broken to begin with. Instead, you'll feel free. You won't be perfect, because absolutely nobody is, but you will finally be in control. You don't need to magically become this completely different person who never ever experiences a negative thought again. That's just impossible. You simply need to stop believing every single thought you think. You observe them, you interrupt them with action, you replace them with honest reality, and you reinforce the habit. Your brain learned its current negative path through years and years of silent repetition. It was really just doing its job, trying to protect you from the ancient lions in the brush. But now you know the science and you have the actual tools. So my question to you is, will you start building a new path on day 1? Will you make the choice to let today be your official beginning? You have the agency, and the science proves you have the biological capability. So take that first step, become the observer, and take your power back. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.